Had a lot of questions on reviewing this sight, so let's do it. Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. MFJJ here, talking about the Red Line Torch 2-pin. I had a lot of people ask me about this sight, and I have never actually put my hands on one or touched one, so I figured we might as well just do that as a group. This is a $299 and $319 price point. The direct mount version, non-dovetail, is $299, and the dovetail version is $319, and this is bridge lock compatible from what I understand. Goes right into a Matthews, so I'm sure that's appealing to you Matthews folks out there. But what this looks a lot like is it kind of looks like a cross between, it's like if an HHA, an Excel, and a black gold had a bastardized baby, and here we go. It is more price friendly than the other options, but let's see how it works out here. It's my first experience with this company. They've been good to work with thus far, so I can tell you that on the positive. For a sight that has all the features of most of those sights, this is by far the least expensive. And if I operate this incorrectly, I apologize. I literally have not played with it or really talked to anybody about it. So let's see what makes this thing move. So first off, the movement's awfully stiff. I'm sure there's probably an adjustment for that, and this does get much easier on a sight when it's bolted to the bow. The teeth and gear system's very unique. Looks more like an HHA system than anything, but yeah, it's different. It does have dual indicator needles that you can independently move and adjust. I don't know if you can see those right there. So it's got all those different sets of holes, so if you end up having to move it, you can readjust your position. Multiple places to bolt your base on and move the rail up and down so you can get your optimal range out of here. It does look like it has metal sight tapes, which is a really nice feature, especially at that price point. Dovetail carbon base, yeah, it looks just like an Excel, so that's probably the exact same fitment there. Your first adjustment, first axis rail adjustment, is going to be much like most of these pieces where you loosen here and adjust it and pitch it that way. That looks like your lock. Yeah, so moving that up locks it in place, dropping that down will freeze it. Yeah, I wonder if there's a way to loosen that just a little bit, because it's sure stiff. But like I said, it will get easier bolted on a bow. Looks like you have slide adjustment for your left or right, and maybe there's a micro to it. Let's see. Apologize for my lack of knowledge here, guys. I wanted to try to be as honest with you as I could that I had not played with one or touched one before and tried to figure it out. So there's gotta be, oh, there we go. So it does, looks like it moves left to right, but that feels awfully coarse. I can't get it to go back the other way. There it goes. I just didn't have it loose enough. So it has a more of a micro driven left to right, and then a gang for more left to right adjustment. Yeah. So that allows you a whole bunch of left to right, and then if you need to make smaller adjustments, loosen that a bunch and drive it that way, left to right. Then it looks like that's probably your third axis leveling adjustment right there. You loosen those two screws and pitch it this direction, and then your second axis, it looks like you'd have to come into these right here. Loosen here, loosen there, and pitch that way. Yeah, looks like that. I do have a Matthews here, so let's see how this fits in here. Yeah, that's about the same tolerance that an Excel has, real close. So that would be considered a pretty good fit if you're wanting to do that in the bridge lock. The direct mount version would give you less hardware and less bolt through, so if you're not going to put it on a bridge lock system, I would probably just go with the direct mount version. But all in all, I do like the metal construction of the pins. It does look like you can take this off. I just moved that. There it goes. And put a lens in here if you want to shoot with a magnified. Yeah. Just like so, drop a lens in, screw it back in. The dual pin system, so it looks like a 19 and a 10. Those are really fine, nice little aiming points. I do like that a lot, and it looks like you adjust the secondary pin back here to move it up and down. Loosen that screw and drives up and down there. That's very similar to the dual track system, a little different. Yeah, like I said, let me see if it gets a lot easier in here. Yeah, it's easier to move up and down when you bolt it into a bow because you have a little more resistance, but it's still really tight. I'd be curious if there's a way to loosen that up. Not seeing it on here. So I'll have to call them and find out if there's a way to adjust this a little bit because it is just really stiff. Although most sights that are movable like this, that have a chassis to this fashion, tend to get a little looser as you shoot them. But if you want a dual pin sight with micro drive on a dovetail that's bridge lock compatible, and you don't want to spend, geez, over 400, that's probably your only option. There may be some other ones out there I'm not aware of, and you can comment down below and tell me which ones I should know about that I don't. But I think that's the most cost-effective sight. Now, time will tell how it holds up and whatnot, but your sight picture looks really good. It's a very large bubble with small pins, and I like small pins for aiming. That's a pretty intriguing sight. I can't really find anything about it other than that being awfully stiff to try to move. To criticize, to be honest. I know something this kind of price point, I would typically try to pick it apart, but I gotta be honest, I'm not really finding much to pick apart. You got metal sight tapes like an Excel. You've got the dual pin system like a dual track on black gold, which is my favorite sight. You've got a carbon attachment dovetail that goes directly into a bridge lock. You've got first, second, and third axis adjustments. I can say it doesn't have a shootable third axis. It's be set with tools, but only one or two sites out there do. I mean, this is really intriguing for the money. If you don't want to spend a boatload on a sight, but this is within your budget, I'd definitely take a look at it. I did get, I want to say about a dozen of these or so just to try them because we hadn't seen them before. I'll get them up on the website before this video comes out. So if you want to purchase one, you should be able to. We did get direct mount versions and dovetail versions. So if you have a anything but a Matthews, you probably ought to stick with the direct mount personally because that's less mounting hardware, but it's up to you. Check them out. If there's other accessories you want us to look at that we haven't looked at, do let me know. I know we haven't done a ton yet, but you're going to see a lot more of them from us. We are working on self-help videos, work on bow videos, things like that. So if there's particular things you want to see, comment down below and let me know. Head on over to podiumarcher.com and maybe buy one of these or something else or some other site you're looking for. We got a ton and we're expanding every day and we're growing at a pretty rapid rate and we're trying really hard to keep up. So hopefully you can be patient with us on that. But like I said, whatever you're looking for, let me know, comment down below, and I'll try to get that to you. But take a real close look at this. It's pretty impressive for the money. I really can't argue with it. Thanks for checking us out.